Well, Judy, thank you so much again for being here today. The first question I would love to ask you is I would love to just for you to tell me a little bit about yourself and the company you work for in style.
Okay. So, well, that's a dress form. My name is Jenny Sida. I am the founder of InStyle Exchange. We are a product design and product development company here in Pantego, Texas, which is Arlington. And we've been in business for 17 years. I have had the privilege of working with a few UNT graduates before. And my last intern in the summer, Kaylin Beckham, is a graduating senior at UNT right now in the fashion program. And I am on the board of Texas Tech's fashion program. And I'm also advising the curriculum, and I've always done Dallas Art Institute of Dallas, UNT, Texas Tech. Also, I have done a lot of speaking for SMU's fashion journalism program. So this is a short description of what I do.
Cool. I actually got my master's at SMU. So
wonderful.
in the program, they have a great program. All right. Describe your internship program, the one that your intern probably experienced, and how long has it been in place? Was this the first intern you've hosted, or what did that look like?
Sorry.
You're good.
Suddenly I need some water.
Of course.
1 second. So I have been a mentor for a long time, and I have done a lot of mentorship over the years by hiring my own full-time people and part-time people, and also doing internship programs for Texas Tech graduating seniors. So I have been doing this internship mentorship for over, I say 12 to 15 years.
Wow.
And I used to be the regional director of the Fashion Group International in Dallas as well. And so my goal is always that if someone is really passionate about what they do, they will enjoy this environment, because we do everything in-house. We have the whole process, which a lot of time is lacking in Los Angeles or New York. If people have started looking into the process of other companies, they will find out that it's pretty segmented in the fashion industry. But because of my background in computer science, I run the company like I would, like a software engineering company. So when clients come in with an apparel idea, I work with them to develop the product. Now, that said, internship, it's expected that people have an absolute interest and passion for fashion, but not as a diva, even though I'm wearing a apron. It's not about the self. It is about self-expression, but it's also truly a merchandising process. Like for people to be able to shop clothes in our department stores or online now, we need products. And so the products are not a fantasy. The products are actual products people can wear, function in, especially with work from home. So I expect someone intelligent, passionate. Now, they don't have to have a lot of experience, but they need to be able to learn, and they have to want to learn. So I have seen a lot of cases, if one of these characteristics is absent, it's not going to be a successful internship. I'm very demanding because quality is everything. There's no do, redo, especially in real life for our clients. What we do has to go out the door. So we cannot say, oh, I'm just going to spend another 6 months to redesign this. This is not going to happen in real world. So internship is real, it's real world work. And clients are not going to be happy if we cannot meet the deadlines and the quality they expect. And of course, ultimately, the consumers will not be happy. So that's our internship. We want someone who are passionate to learn, but they're going to learn a lot. I mean, I have not had one assistant or intern that will go back and tell the college and say, we need to change our curriculum because I learned so much more in real life. Now, I'm not saying the foundation is not important, but what I'm looking for is someone who understands the basics and being able to execute it in real environment.
That's wonderful. This sounds like an incredible opportunity for anyone that would want to pursue that.
Truly, it's
Um,
really an apprenticeship instead of just a graduating credit. You know, I want people to learn, and far more than just the task on hand. I want people to learn um, to be themselves, to find their weakness, to understand their strength, to understand how they can solve problems.
that's fantastic. Sort of on that note, how can an internship experience such as the one that you have mutually benefit an employer and student?
I think the work ethics, the attitude, it's very important for an employer to gain benefit from and training someone or assessing them. So I don't want people to think that an internship is just an internship so that they can finish their college degree. I have met a few of them. But the thing is, in the same time, you're evaluating whether you want to stay with that company and it's the company going to enjoy having you on board once you are done. And so it's a very important and critical time to learn about each other. In addition, this is also to, in my case, in our office, we have 22 sewing machines. We have all kinds of different applications from knitwear, swimwear to dresses, blazers, and we do uniforms for, like, for example, in Dallas, we do uniforms for the Adolphus Hotel. And so it's kind of like the French room. It has a very, very luxurious, environment. So our working on their uniforms, we really put in our heart and soul. And so the graduate of the fashion program should expect that they're going to be sewing. They're going to be very good in really executing the design based on the requirements. So it's very different than people who are hiring technical designers and then everything is made in Pakistan because everything is made right here. So the first thing I always do is to go through the whole process with my intern and also to learn about, surprisingly, intern doesn't really know about the difference between different needles for different fabrics and also the thread. And I find it very interesting that even though they may have been taught a little bit, they didn't put the one and one together. So materials, and a lot of people think that, oh, I just want to do bridal. But we do all kinds of design. So they have to be able to think in different ways. Stretch materials for a athleisure line is very different, but we do it all here. And I have the very in-depth knowledge of it. In addition, now the last 2 years, we also have transitioned into 3D draping. So the graduate needs to know how to utilize technology and learn it really fast, because right now, a lot of time people are still using old technology in college. And say they haven't stepped out into the direction and they need to be able to learn it here quickly. And I'm fair, I give enough time. But again, if that person is not able to learn new technology and understand the process, that will not be of beneficial further after the internship. But in some good way, a lot of the people who have gone through our internship find out that this is not for them. This is a lot more hands-on. This is a lot more required to be excellent, an excellent seamstress, an excellent designer. A designer basically is someone who can manipulate the materials into a product. And so fit is very important to us, and being able to drape it in 3D, even make it perfect, because, dress forms are old-fashioned way of developing a product, but you still need the basic understanding of fit and, how to use the dress form to drape. But now we are actually doing it with Clothes 3D. We use Aptitext for production. And so those things has to be all fall into place. And so in short, again, in summary, I expect the intern to be a great learner, to have a great attitude, and also for us to benefit is to train them and transfer our knowledge. And I really love doing that part. Now it's up to them whether they learn it or not. So
Beautifully put. And it sounds like, the intern's going to come out of the experience with just so many skills, new skills, and just such a wonderful foundation, wherever they want to go in fashion. So it sounds like an incredible opportunity.
I was told by Texas Tech that after they track the record of internship from my internship program, I don't do a lot of internship programs. Sometimes I'm more picky, but I have higher assistants. They find out that everyone who has been trained by me, they were able to find full-time employment right away, not even like 6 months later. Yes, your resume is going to be so much richer when you have an internship with us.
Wow, that's really impressive. Well, so next question, what does the application process look like for students?
It's quite easy, actually. Kaylin Beckham did the same thing. You have to send me an introduction email of yourself, why you're interested in my company, and you have to send a updated resume. And if I feel like, you didn't make any grammatical mistake, and your resumes are probably formatted, detailing your work experience from the past, not a lot of people surprisingly didn't pass that part. And then when they write the introduction email, they say, "Dear hiring manager, it's so easy to find out my name. So I would like to be addressed that way," because that just shows that you really want to be here. It's no brainer. We only want people who want to be here. And then, if I feel like the portfolio, like, oh, you don't have to send a link yet. A lot of time I do said, can you send me some of your work? Well, I prefer it on Wix or on some web format because of my technical background. So I really expect that. Again, I need the resume to be formally, professionally formatted. I don't need someone's picture. I don't want to know your face on the resume. I am more interested in, do you understand that you have accomplished a lot? Whether it's babysitting, whether it's mowing the lawn, I need to see that you have done something in your life, that you're not just sitting there doing nothing. I want, again, they don't have to have the apparel manufacturing experience because they're going to learn it from here. That's the process.
And are you looking for, upperclassmen, or do you accept interns that are freshmen, sophomores? Sort of what are you looking for there?
Oh, I have done a lot of freshmen. That's even better because they are learning parallel to they are learning in the college. I understand the demand of assignments, but that's that's the kind of, like, you have to show that you understand time management, right? Okay, I can give you 2 hours, Jenny, this week only because here's my workload. You know what? I love that because that means A, you're serious about studying. B, you understand. Well, I also want to learn from Jenny, so I can craft out 2 hours of my time. Now, it didn't happen a lot of time for some, not all of them, of course not. For some people, it is as soon as I said I'm in Arlington, they said, "Oh, I don't want to drive." They literally actually email back and say, "I don't want to drive." Now, that is not okay in life, whether it's working for me or working for someone in New York. You have to be able to make yourself available for the things that you love. Trust me, I love everything I do. That's why I'm here every morning. No one like put a gun over my head and said, you need to get up. No, I want to be there. I want to be of value to my clients. And when you see them launch, when you see them get a great product, I have so many clients come in here, they literally cry when they see their samples because they say, that's exactly what I have been thinking for the last 10 years. I'm so happy I actually see it in action. You know, it's the reward comes when you also are supporting their dream. And at the end of the day, you reap the reward of seeing the results. And that's exactly why I mentioned at the beginning, not someone who wants to be a diva. If you want to launch your line, I'm not your mentor. But if you do want to launch your line at some point in the future, this is a great training ground. But you have to be a student first before you can be a master.
You have so much wonderful advice. Yeah, so it was beautifully put. Right, next question. And you've sort of touched on this. I think you touched on this quite a bit. My next question was, what do you look for in a student candidate? If you want to elaborate on that a little bit more, but I feel like you really did cover that pretty well.
Yeah, someone independent, someone reliable. Again, I just want someone who loves doing this and know that, you know what, you get poked by the needle. So it's part of it comes with the territory as a designer. And I don't just mentor people on task, you know, oh, this is the task list you have to execute. No, I care about the whole person. Sometimes we go look at the WGSN reports on trends, and we will have Kaylin can share that if she got a chance to talk about the internship. And she can talk about how we get together on Zoom and just looking at reports and sometimes videos of like Dior, how they do their handwork. You know, the whole thing is about gaining knowledge. And so we need someone who loves to learn, who will do anything to learn something and get better at that. I always said after dinner, between 8 and 9, you still have an hour. You can do some training and learning of something you don't know. I'm not saying definitely it's fashion. I learn about electronics because we have wearable projects. People come in and say, you know, I want to do this pair of gloves, but I wanted to have a LED lights on the palm. I want to have a microchips embedded in it. So we do that too. So people need to have the mind to be able to expand into new territory of design.
I love that. That's wonderful. All right. Next question. What does a typical day look like for an intern?
I don't send them to get coffee. Actually, I got coffee for them if they are interested in coffee. Some people don't want to drink coffee, but I want to make sure that they feel comfortable. Then the typical day is depending on what we are working on, but a lot of time is similar process. We're going to cut fabrics for the job, and if we have a new design, then we either working on the technical flats. Technical flats are to communicate back the design to the client. So the client could be sending some images of design they want. So we're going to create a whole collection for them with technical flats just to communicate back that we understand what they want. Now, technical flats in school are not taught specifically on one thing and which needs to change. They are not just to make a figure. They are communication tools to talk about, I want to call it this high. I want a button down shirt with 5 different buttons, you know, things like that. However, as a good designer, they're going to learn from me that you have to start thinking, is it possible to be done in the production? So not everything can be translated into a product, right? Because the clients are not necessarily fashion designers. They're lawyers, medical doctors, and all kinds of people, engineers. And they just want a collection with apparel or sometimes wearable, like I mentioned now. So our job is to support them and say, hey, you know what, it's not going to work on the single needle machine because, you know, the material is stretched. That means we need to use cover stitch. And so when we communicate back the technical designs, it could not be just a drawing. It needs to make sense in production. And that's what a intern usually have a chance to do. It's like, okay, this is what the client wants. Can you do the technical flats? And a lot of time, I have learned my lesson. So now I give them a cap. Like based on the level of their learning and the experience, I expect maybe 4 hours for 5 technical flats in Adobe Illustrator. So if they cannot do that within the time frame, they are not going to be successful on the job. But then later, we usually, after we do design work, if we do have a sample to cut, we'll cut the sample and we'll work with our seamstress to put it together. Now, the seamstress does not speak English, even though in America. So a lot of time we have different languages around in the office. So someone needs to be able to communicate without necessarily saying, speaking the language. We used to have in hearing impaired team member. So you cannot, if you know sign language, perfect. If you don't, you still would have to be able to communicate. And so it's really fun, and we help each other to solve problems. A lot of time I show them how to start a stitch. And then if we need to talk about other things, who's part of the group meeting and team, I make sure they take their lunch break solidly. I have done that for myself too. You leave and you go to the lunchroom, you actually take a break. And then when you come back and, continue to work on the project, or if I need someone to learn something new, like there was a time I asked the intern to try this this paint. This paint actually is conductive, and so when you paint the circuitry onto the fabric, then when you put a battery on this end and you put an LED light on this end, it will lit up. So I will teach them new skills, and I'll give them a chance of doing clo. We've done clo once in summer, and I show them how to drape in 3D. And I encourage them to be on their own time, can watch a lot of tutorials. And that's a typical day of an intern.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Okay. As mentor, what kind of role do you play in the professional development of your interns? It sounds like you're very hands-on with the intern and you interact directly with them and you teach them a lot of those skills that they are to develop. Yeah, more of that.
Oh, very hands-on. If I know that if I don't have a position coming up and I really take a liking of the intern's work, that's why they always get full-time job afterwards. I'm going to work with them on their portfolio with real work. They can share data from our company that I think is safe. And I help them to rewrite their resume a lot of time and the cover letter. And so I help them to be even more professional, because I remember the day when I was graduating from college and I had the privilege to work, to learn. I went to college in Boston, Northeastern, in computer science. And I remember that they always prepare so well in the job market. We have co-op, so we work freshman year already in summer. So we gain full-time experience. By the time we are almost done with school, everyone get employed already before they walk down the aisle. And that's always my goal too with my interns. I want them to be able to get a letter from someone. Like I actually follow up and say, did you apply? And if I have any leads to other people, it's really who you know. Really, a lot of time to get an interview is who you know. And so I will refer them to people I already know in like Third Love, who's a lingerie company, Foot Locker. I met the VP before, so she's always open. I know someone at North Face. And so I'll try to use my professional connection to help my interns.
Wonderful. So, what are some of the highlights of the experience for InStyle Exchange? The student and yourself, either this, most recent intern or ones in the past. Any standout moments or experiences that you can think of that you'd like to share?
It's good thing for UNT. So Karen Beckham was very, very exactly the right person that I've encountered in a long, long time, that she can handle the real world. And so I really love her work ethic. And also, I like how she learned so fast. So the moment I show her one thing, she's able to execute it without me babysitting. Now, to emphasize that to all the interns in the future, people reading, watching this, I do not like to micromanage. I want autonomy from anybody. I'm not going to stand there and watch you. So you have to be able to hold yourself accountable, and you need to be able to learn it. Again, keep in mind, we don't do one dress in 3 months, like an assignment, okay? So whatever people are learning in school, they need to be able to use it already. And then I give them even additional experience and training in this field that a lot of companies desire, the skill that the other companies will want.
Wonderful. Right. What do you think the student will gain or learn from the experience? And I feel like you did touch on this quite a bit, but if there were like one main thing that would be a big takeaway for an intern, what would it be? That'd be the most important thing.
It's that everything is all about the creative process. Now, being able to take a complex idea and turn it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to execute it, it's a very important life skill. It's not a job skill only, it's a life skill. If any time life throws you a lemon, you can make lemonade. That's exactly what people are going to come out from here. You have to become a problem solver. You need to be emotionally strong, and you need to know how to make things happen no matter what.
I love that. I think the best internship experiences for students, I like to tell them that if it's a good internship experience, it should be applicable to other areas of your life
Yes,
no matter, what field you go into. And so
exactly. It's very transferable if you really learn from wherever you are right now. Like, I love all my computer technology skills and architecture of designing systems because it applies to everything I do as a business owner. So that takes it back down. If someone is willing to learn, down the road, they definitely can become a designer with their own label.
Mhm.
But you do need to put in the time. You can't just think that you can get out of school and you're ready. No, because I've seen some of the work, but a lot of time they're not ready. They don't understand the basics of why you use this material and not this material. And also, truly, I talked to a professor before. What they didn't expect is in real life, you're not in charge of designing that product. So my client's idea, even though it may not make sense to me, my job as a service provider is to make it happen. But you can definitely offer alternative solutions and options, right? That's our job to say, advise them, don't use this fabric. It's going to cause a lot of problems later. It's not going to be washable, blah, 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 right? You need to have that kind of knowledge to advise. And so where you gain those knowledge to become a better designer, work through the years and see things happen that didn't happen, right? For example, my first experience as a business owner in this field. So I come in here with a fashion background, except when I was 3 years old, I wanted to be a fashion designer. So I lived my dream with only knowing how to design software, but I applied the skills I learned as a software engineer. I applied it to learning fashion process. At the end of the day, it's exactly the same process. And then throughout the years, I've seen that other people have, oh, I was judging scholarship competition. If you choose the wrong material, you will not get the award. You're going to fail right away. That's how important materials are. And the knowledge only come to, you try to cut on a bias on a certain material. And then when you start sewing, it becomes like 5 miles long. I mean, some chiffon is like that. silk chiffon. And I always tell those students, don't use silk chiffon unless you have already a master of silk chiffon for like over 20 years and you really know how to handle the material, because it will grow on you.
So great. I'm so glad you brought up your background in computer science and how it's directly applicable to your, your job now and as a business owner, as someone who's an expert in fashion and just lifelong learning. I think that's going to be very encouraging to all the students that will be watching this video for sure.
I do have another, talking about transferable skill. When I was working in computer science, in software engineering, I also got a chance to take classes, wherever classes I want to take. So I took classes in accounting. Who knew? I'm a business owner. Right away, I know how to set up QuickBooks because I took accounting courses at Boston College in Boston. And so you have to create your own opportunities. No one is going to tell you what to do. You have to have the desire to do it for yourself. And then hopefully the right person will be on my team and we can work it together.
Wonderful advice. Overall, sort of just generally, would you recommend internship experiences for undergraduate students? And do you have any advice for them as they go about the application process and looking for the perfect internship that'll suit their needs?
I would say, it's only my personal opinion, I would say that you really should try someone like me because of all the experience I described and things you will be doing and learning. A lot of time they just want a big name, but marketing is marketing. What they find out is when they enter the studio, it's actually a personal apartment of that so-called designer. And then you find out that they don't do anything, they don't sew, they don't accomplish anything, they just want you to go to Starbucks. Okay, so if you do have a chance to apply and you find out the environment is not really a creative environment that you want to be part of, well, you can still be part of the big name if that's the goal, but are you going to genuinely learn how to make a garment and know the quality and the tricks? And there are a lot of tricks. People, this is what Kaylin from UNC told me. I just love how much you love gadgets. I have a lot of gadgets and tricks. It will make your life so much richer or easier. I'm also a result-oriented person, so I like to see my product. So I don't want to wait. And that's another thing I get anxious. And also I trained another engineer this summer. There were 4 people here for internship, and one of them was actually at Texas A&M as an engineer major. I taught him how to sew his plan is to go to Paris. I taught him how to sew a blazer in 1 day. If you're a good student and you listen to me, you will learn. But I do know that a lot of the company's opportunities usually are more on the paperwork side, Excel spreadsheets and things like that. So if for people who actually want a hands-on creating garments experience, I don't know a lot of people, but I'm one of those.
Awesome. All right. So final question, is there anything that we didn't discuss today that you were hoping to?
I could be my own bias. I just think a lot of young people nowadays think that you're going to be famous. If that is what you want, you'll be surprised it's not going to happen. What is famous anyway? Now, but if you want to be successful doing what you love, I have a formula. The formula is to put in the hard work and continue to do it and never give up.
That is a beautiful way to end this interview. Thank you so much, Jenny. This was a phenomenal interview, and I think it's going to be so encouraging to students who are going to be looking for internships. And I am sure this will, garner some attention to Install Exchange. And I I know as a student, I would be very interested after all you've had to say in pursuing. I kind of still want to apply for this internship. But
I
I
don't know
think
if this line will go into the video, but I am tough. A
okay.
lot of people are scared of me. So I don't yell at you. Don't worry about that part. But those who are aligned with how I like to teach, they will enjoy it and learn so much. But for those who are afraid of being challenged, they may find me a very tough mentor.
I love how honest you are, and I think so they'll know exactly what they're going into. When they apply for the internship. We are still recording, so that is part of this. But I think it's yes, I think that's a wonderful thing from a mentor personally.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and yeah, let me know if there's anything else that you later think of that you want me to add. I mean, I'm not sure how I'd add it into the video at this point, but if there's anything else you wanted to add to the process, or if there's a way to go about applying for the internship, any information on that, just let me know.
Okay.
Sound
Yeah.
good? All right,
Thank
thank you so
you,
much,
Danny.
Jenny.